All right, today we're jumping into something huge. How artificial intelligence is stepping up to become this incredibly powerful new ally in the fight against ALS. You know, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's one of medicine's toughest, most formidable challenges. So let's get right into it.
You know, for decades, ALS research has kind of felt like trying to solve this giant, impossible puzzle where most of the pieces are just missing. Scientists knew neurons were dying, but the big question, the why, was always just out of reach. It was this incredibly complex mystery that stumped even the brightest minds out there.
And that's really where our story kicks off, because now we have a new kind of detective on the case: artificial intelligence. I want you to think of it like a supercharged investigator, one that can sift through absolute mountains of clues and spot patterns that a human eye could easily miss.
But of course, this AI detective didn't just appear out of nowhere fully formed. Its journey into the world of ALS research was actually pretty gradual. It all started with some small but really significant first steps.
So, the very first hints of AI's potential in medicine, they actually popped up way back in the 70s. But for ALS specifically, the big moment came much, much later. It was around 2012 that machine learning, which is basically just teaching computers to find patterns in data, started being used to hunt for clues in our genes. Fast forward to 2017, and it was being used to find existing drugs that could maybe be repurposed. And then just a couple of years ago, in 2022, AI started analyzing things like voice changes to help slash the diagnosis time from months down to weeks.
To really put this leap into perspective, just imagine, old-school research was painfully slow. It was like trying to read a phone book by candlelight. Now, by comparison, that early AI was a massive upgrade. We're talking about going from a bicycle to a car. A huge jump in speed and power, for sure, but we were still a long way from flying.
And that brings us to right now. Let's fast forward to 2025, because today, AI isn't just one single tool anymore. Oh no. It's an absolute powerhouse that has woven itself right into the very fabric of ALS research and patient care.
Today, AI is basically like a Swiss Army knife for scientists. I mean, thanks to these huge increases in computing power and way bigger datasets, it's being used everywhere, for diagnosis, for drug discovery, for patient care, and even for personalizing clinical trials. It's become absolutely indispensable.
And the results? They're staggering. Get this. A model from the Mayo Clinic can now predict ALS with 90% accuracy just by using nerve signal data. Think about that. It's like having a radar that can spot a storm long before the rain even starts, which gives treatments a much better shot at working.
And it doesn't stop at diagnosis. In the world of drug discovery, you've got collaborations like Answer-ALS, using AI to find potential new treatments 10 times faster than was ever possible. I mean, it's just dramatically speeding up the entire search.
Okay, so to just quickly sum up where we are right now, AI is making diagnoses faster and more accurate. It's making drug discovery smarter, it's making patient care way more personal with things like voice cloning and brain-computer interfaces, and it's even helping scientists group patients into different subtypes so clinical trials can be more effective.
But here's the thing. As incredible as all of that is, it's really just the warm-up act. Seriously, we are standing right on the verge of a true revolution, and what's going to happen over the next 10 years is going to dwarf everything we've seen so far.
The scale of the change we're about to witness is just immense. The leap in AI's capability in the next decade, it's not going to be small steps. It's going to be transformative. It's like jumping from the smartphone that's in your pocket right now straight to those interactive holograms you see in science fiction movies.
We are right at the beginning of what people call an S-curve. We've already gone through the slow build-up phase, and right about now, we are hitting that steep part of the curve, a period of absolutely explosive growth. By the 2030s, AI is probably going to be as fully integrated into health and research as Wi-Fi is in our lives today.
So what's going to drive this explosion? Well, there are two huge concepts on the horizon. Quantum AI, which could solve problems that are literally impossible for us right now, and artificial general intelligence, or AGI, which is an AI that can think and reason a lot like a human can. This isn't just an upgrade, you guys. This is like giving researchers a jetpack.
But, okay, even a jetpack needs fuel, right? And for this next generation of AI, that fuel is data. A massive, unprecedented amount of data. This is the final, crucial ingredient that's going to unlock its full potential.
Let me put this in perspective for you. All the data we have right now, as incredibly valuable as it is, it's like a kiddie pool.
We've learned a ton from it for sure, but it represents just a tiny, tiny fraction of what's possible, and more importantly, what's coming.
Now imagine going from that little kiddie pool to an entire ocean. That is the kind of impact we're talking about when we get to 20,000 unique and diverse patient datasets. This is the real game changer, a massive treasure trove of biological information for these powerful new AIs to learn from.
So what does that actually mean in practice? Well, with this ocean of data, AI could uncover not just a few, but dozens of new patient subtypes. It could help develop the biomarkers needed for simple blood tests to get that super early detection. It could identify maybe 10 to 20 entirely new targets for therapies and map out the disease pathways in ways we've only dreamed of.
So when you combine that revolutionary AI with this ocean of data, what you get is more than just progress. What you get is the dawn of a completely new era of hope in the fight against ALS.
You know, the ultimate goal of all this technology, all this work, is to fundamentally transform what an ALS diagnosis means. The real ambition here is to shift it from being a fatal disease to a manageable, chronic condition, much like the incredible progress that we've seen with a disease like HIV over the past few decades.
And that leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. As we stand right here at this amazing intersection of biology and technology, it's really worth asking, could the algorithms and the code that are being written in labs today, could they actually be the key that finally unlocks the cure that we've all been searching for?